Everybody's always asking what kind of loans we do here at Columbia Green Federal Credit Union.
Let's tell them.
Holiday,
Consolidations,
Quads,
snowmobiles,
boats,
back to school,
lawnmowers,
campers,
motorcycles,
first-time auto buyers,
weddings,
trucks,
heating oil,
RVs,
furniture,
vet bills,
dirt bikes,
vacations,
appliances,
home improvements,
pools,
jet skis.
home equity.
anything at all.
You want it, we got it.
All right, well, welcome back to another edition of HV360's The Press Box, brought to you by our good friends at Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. Brian's off this week, so I'm flying solo, along with my co-pilot, I guess you could say, here this week. But, I've been covering sports in the area for, I'd say a few years now, and in that time I've had the pleasure of talking to a lot of coaches and players, and I got to say, today's guest is one of my all-time favorites, 2017 Hudson High School graduate, Mike Alert. Mike, great to have you here, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I want to start out with your career and how it started out at Hudson High School. You know, a lot of people know you as, the leader of that great Hudson High School team, one of the great basketball eras in Hudson High School history, and you were kind of like the mainstay of that team. You also had a very, very, very great football career as well. But when it comes to basketball, let's talk about how it all unfolded for you. Now, you started out as a freshman on the JV team, and then were moved up to the varsity team during your freshman year. Is that right?
First game.
First game.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't take long, did it?
When I played, 8th grade, I played JV for Dysel, and then after, I played JV with Zach Hedgepeth, Daniel Folds, and all them. Mm-hmm. So, when they went to varsity, I was like, I want to go to varsity too. So my 9th grade year, first I was on JV to start out, going throughout the scrimmages. And our first scrimmage, we played Pine Plains, and I had like 8 threes. And
is that right?
Yeah, and I was
okay.
I was mad I wasn't playing. And then on the way up to Rensselaer, when I was my freshman year, Briscoe called me to the front of the bus and asked me, do I want to suit up with the varsity team? And I was really excited, so I said, yeah. I mean, going and skipping my second year at JV, I'm happy I saw how everything was how everything moved and the level of speed. So when I was going throughout my years in high school, I knew what I was going up against.
And when you came up and played varsity for the first time, were you a little nervous? I mean, a little shaky out there at first, or did you feel comfortable right off the bat?
Well, at first I never came off the bench for literally anything, so it was a different type of feel of going from starting on every sport.
So you didn't start right away?
No.
Okay.
And then I just not even playing a lot, so I played a little bit, but it was just different from sitting the bench than actual being in the game.
How did that make you feel, though? Because I know a lot of kids, they'll come up to the varsity as underclassmen and feel, okay, I should be in the game right away. I should be the man because I was a man on the JV. Was it hard for you, as you say, it was kind of different, but was it really hard for you to get accustomed to coming off the bench and to basically not being the man right off the bat when you came up to the varsity?
Yeah, it was hard because being young, I wasn't used to stuff like that and change, and I wasn't used to people saying oh, you might go in, you might not, or some games I'm sitting there eager to go in and I'm not going in. So it's I was just young, and in my head I was thinking, I need to be in, I should be in, I can do this, I can do that. But as I got older, I realized that it's not always going to be your way. So
Good advice there for kids coming up, to the varsity level that are underclassmen, and you see that a lot more these days. But when did you first break into the starting lineup? As a freshman, or was it your next year as a sophomore?
It was as a sophomore, and that's when I became the captain of the team my sophomore year. And after that, I continued to start, and I left my mark from there on out.
Now, the sophomore year, that kind of was it just kind of showed where things were going for the Hudson High basketball team. Take me through that season. I know you got to the sectionals. I believe you went 15-5 that year, and that's the year you lost to Voorheesville. And that was the turning point, right?
Yeah.
At Voorheesville in the sectionals?
Because actually I was going to before like that whole season, I decided not to play football, and I usually play football in my life, but
Sure.
I realized basketball was my main love, so I started to focus on basketball a lot. And going in, we lost to Catskill twice. We lost to a couple of teams that we should have beat. But then I was like, and then going to Voorheesville, it was my first sectional game, like actually like really being a part of.
Right.
So we lost. At first, it was tied 35 at the end of the first half, and then they went like a 20-0 run.
Start second half.
Yeah, and then their whole crowd was in it, and
Right.
we couldn't bounce back. And after that, I realized that these teams that we should have beat, we
Sure.
were only losing them because we lacked the confidence when we were down. And after that, I realized I needed to like grow mentally to keep winning against hard teams.
So the loss might have been the best thing that ever happened to you. And
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it at the time, but eventually it turned out to be maybe the best thing. And that was a very young team. Yourself, just a sophomore, and you had some other kids on the team too that were underclassmen that kind of went on to some great careers at Hudson High. Then we go to your junior year, and that was the year, maybe one of the best years, if not the best year ever for Hudson High hoops. I know some of the old cats will say, "Hey, come on now, you can't forget about those '70s teams, some of the '60s teams," but for the here and now, that was a great team.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that team a little bit.
Well, our team was the kind of the same team our modified year.
Right.
And during modified, when we played for Dysel Jefferson, we went, I believe, like 21-0 around that.
Right.
So like it was the same team, and we grew up with each other playing throughout middle school all the way up. So we had a special group, especially
Great bond.
yeah, because we already knew each other from playing football together, where we had to get it going on the field to playing on the court. So we already had that connection, communication, and then on the court it was like magic. And how one person moved, everyone else moved, and we had a lot of support from our school, the community that year.
That was a great year.
It just felt like everything was going good. And after we played a lot of like teams that were out of the conference, and we were beating them by 20, 30,
Sure.
and that's when we realized that we can beat everyone.
I know Catskill had your number for a few years there, but that was the year, I think, again, everything turned in terms of that series as well, because I know the big game over there, that was that very first battle
We played
of the
Battle
bridge.
of the Bridge, yeah.
That was the first one. And I remember it was a close game. In fact, you were leading all the way. They took the lead late in the game with Justin Lacey, but you guys came back to win. I think it was by like 6 points. And that kind of opened everybody's eyes up. Everybody knew Hudson was going to have a good team, but I think that right there showed everybody. And then later on that year, when you went to the Ravenna tournament, and won that tournament, beat
we didn't have
Pittsfield.
Hamma, we didn't have Willie Walker, and it was just that Catskill game was a big game, especially because it's a small environment and it's real
Right.
hot, and
Oh, yeah.
it's like everyone's right next to you, even though
That's a
they're
hostile
not.
crowd, too.
Yeah,
I mean, when Hudson comes to town.
exactly. So like that whole game, we had the lead, we lost the lead. So that's how you see like with the adversity and how you're gonna bounce back. So when we beat them, and I love trophies, like so I couldn't lose that trophy. And
no
like
way.
I talked to Cookerstein before the game. He told
That's Justin
me,
Cookstein, the athletic director
yeah,
at Hudson
he
High.
told me we can't lose this trophy. It's our trophy. We gotta
Yeah,
keep
that's
it
it.
here. So I told him I got him, and we won the trophy. And when we played Catskill the second time, it was like
Yeah, that was a wider margin, we'll say.
yeah, it felt
Beat
like
by a little,
from our
little
starters
more.
to our bench, everyone should start against them. So it was like one of the easiest games that and one of the funnest games that we played.
All right.
We played them at the college.
That's right. I remember that. And so you finish that season 20, you go into sectionals. I remember the home game, you beat Granville pretty easily. After that, I mean, that year in particular, it was like a who's who of great teams. Class B was just bananas that year.
Yeah.
I mean, you went up Hudson Valley, beat Voorheesville, a very good
Which was
Voorheesville
hard.
team.
Yeah, that was a hard game.
That was a hard game, no question. Then came the McKeel game up
Which
in
was the
Gladys
hardest.
Falls. That team was good.
Which was definitely the hardest game that we played, because they had shooters, they had speed, they had size.
Deontay Holder.
Yeah,
Who's still there.
Yeah, that was an impressive team that we played against.
I believe they had a 10-point lead on Hudson too at the start of the second half, and then you guys started raining threes, and it was all she wrote. And
Out of every half, every game, we were down 7 going into halftime, and then we came back and won. But it was, I don't know.
Well, that set up the big one, the one at Glens Falls, against Glens Falls.
Oh, yeah.
And the man JG3, Joe Girard III. He was just a freshman then.
Yeah.
And I know you were pointing to that game, marking it down on your calendar, saying this is the game, man. We got to beat this, not only the team but this guy. And he did. He had a good first half. He had 23 points, finished with 39 overall. But in the end, Hudson got him.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, I give him all the respect. Like,
Absolutely.
he's doing this thing right now. I hope he breaks the Lance Stevens record. He most likely will.
He's closing in.
Yeah, when I see him, like, we'll chop it up. Like, sometimes we'll text, like, "Oh, how you doing?" But like, playing against him was definitely like a big eye opener. Like,
Sure.
Because we were going from all these teams where you didn't really play people in the platoon to all these high caliber teams.
Right.
And Glens Falls, at first I was guarding Gerard full court, and then as it got in the half court, I was running off so much screens that there's only 5 people on the court on his team, but it felt like I was running off 1,000 screens, and I was just getting tired. But I realized I had to fight through it, and he was hitting crazy shots off the dribble, off screens.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna stop him as much as I can. So, and I had a lot of support because our crowd was outrageous, and I think that was just one of my favorite games playing.
I would say, out of all the games I've seen over the years, that might be my favorite as well. And I'll never forget Danny Folds with the
with the
steal,
dunk.
and then the dunk.
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
When he did that, he set the whole
yeah.
the whole mood in the gym. It was just, I think it
That
was the
was
craziest game.
I was over the press box, and where the hockey press box, which kind of overlooks the court. I thought I was going to fall out of the damn thing because I was so excited. I mean, that was
crazy.
That was nuts. That was really good. And
Especially being on the court with all the sweat on your jersey, and you just see Daniel rise up with the and one dunk.
That will be a play that will be talked about 50 years down the road.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, oh man, I wanted to tell the grandkids about. But of course, you got to the Final Four that year. Didn't end the way you wanted to, but Ole and the team that eventually did beat Hudson, the only team to beat Hudson that year, is the Hawks finished 26-1, went on to win the state championship, and then got to the Federation final where they lost by like a bucket or two, to a great collegiate team from the city. Next year, your senior year, you had the 3 kids back, yourself, Tyler Delavecchia, and Hannah. But the season ended 18-3, but still you weren't satisfied. That wasn't the kind of season you wanted to have. You expected more, right?
Oh, I expected to go right back to the championship because we played Ichabod. We lost to Ichabod in the regular season.
Right, close game.
We played them
there.
in non-conference league game, and we lost to them. But I felt like our team was a little shaky. So I'm thinking like when we got to play them at Hud Valley, it was going to be different. And
They got off to that big lead.
they went on like a 14-0 run.
Yeah, right off the bat. I know you got it back to 14-7, but then they got another little
Then they
run.
got another run.
Every time you made a run,
They made
they pulled away a little bit.
So it was hard, and then we were going down. It was the fourth quarter. We started making a real big comeback, and I had the ball the kid had the ball in clear court, and I stole it, and the ref called a foul.
Yeah.
Then Willie Walker stole. Me and Will trapped the kid, and the ref called another foul. Then I had a fast break layup, and I did it in and out, and the kid fell by himself, and the ref called a charge by the 3-point line.
Yeah, they were calling some fouls that night.
Yeah, so it was like whatever we were doing. Like I know you're not supposed to listen to the ref and let the coach handle, but it was like
Yeah, I know it's hard to
when everything's out of control.
overlook those kind of things.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was a great high school career for you, both football and basketball.
Yeah, our football team was lit.
Yeah, no question about it. Yeah, we got to talk about a little football too, because I mean, you guys got to the Section 2 championship game for the first time in more than 10 years, and you had a great year.
Yeah, our football.
I mean, that was a good time. That was a good time. I mean, and again, Glens Falls stood in the way of you winning that Section 2 title, but we
just getting there was just real good.
No question.
Especially because like with all my best friends and stuff.
Right. That was a close team. You could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody got along, and it was just a fun team to be around.
If you saw our practices, you would think that we weren't good. Like our practices, we would dance. We would.
Yeah, you're having a good time.
Yeah, we would do different things than any other team would do, and we were just having fun and going out and playing.
Yep.
We went that far. And
Come game time, you were ready.
Yeah.
No question. Now, talk to me about college recruiting. I mean, you were a top-notch athlete at a small school, and it's tough to get recognized. how did you handle the process? Because again, there's colleges out there that'll tell you what you want to hear. Colleges that maybe you're not interested in academically, or vice versa, maybe academically, but not so much sports related. But how did you go through the process? Was it tough for you to decide where you wanted to end up after high school?
Yeah, it was real hard. I mean, looking back at it, at first I was only looking at sports, and I didn't really look at academic wise and the surrounding and what was going on. So I was only looking at sports, and it was, I would say, when you're looking at a school, if you want to play sports, you should look at academics first, because
that's
basketball ends eventually for some people. You should look at academics first, your surrounding, where you can be more comfortable. So when you're away from home, if you decide to live off on your own, that you're comfortable and you have a good surrounding where you can do stuff, where you feel like you're at home in some ways. And as you're getting recruited, ask them questions that you want to hear. Don't hide and hide questions, but ask everything so you know what's going on, so you know when you're going in that this is going to happen.
Yeah, it's a tough process, because I think a lot of kids go into it blind, even with support from your coaches or your parents or your friends. I mean, there's so many people pulling you this way and that way that it is hard to decide. I mean, you settled on Utica, but it didn't turn out the way you had hoped or wanted it to go. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I went to I decided to go to Utica, but at first, I would say that all the training and stuff was amazing. I got in some good shape. I lost a lot of weight doing all the track days and stuff, but I kind of put some of it back on, and all the workouts and stuff were good. They increased my knowledge a lot, but going throughout the game, I didn't really play, and it was
because you have a roster with 18 kids on it. I mean, it's tough to break in.
Yeah, it was real frustrating, going to all the practice throughout the day and then not playing and sitting there when we need defense. I'm real good at it, so you're not getting in the game. So it was just something, and especially because basketball itself kept me out of a lot of trouble and staying on the right track, and not for a lot of people have a lot of things that they look forward to, and basketball is the one thing that I look forward to always. If I needed to relax, clear my mind, I would go play basketball. I would go do something with a basketball, just hold the basketball. Yeah.
Now, you decided to leave Utica. What's next for Michael Laird? People want to know, okay, you're not there. When are we going to see you on the court again?
Well, I'm hoping to next fall to go to Columbia Green and play basketball right around the corner. So I hope I can bring a lot of fans from this local area, because I know Columbia Green doesn't have a lot of local fans coming to watch because they don't really know anybody on the team, so it makes no sense. But I go there, I'm looking to drag a lot of people to come and hopefully try and fill the bleachers where we can bring out both sides of the court, so it looks like an actual college game instead of a high school game. Yeah.
Now, what are you doing in the meantime? I mean, to keep yourself in shape. I mean, because a lot of people say, okay, you're going to have a long layoff. You played a little bit at Utica, but now you're going to have that long layoff until next fall when the college practices begin again. What are you doing to keep in shape?
Well, I go to the gym with my mom and my cousin, and we work out and stay in shape. And both of my brothers and stuff, we work out, and so I can stay in shape. And I have Aggie, my oldest cousins, where they help me stay in shape for basketball. And we're looking for a men's league for me to join, so I can get up and down the court. And when I'm taking classes at Columbia Green, when I have my free time, the gym's available, I'll go in the gym and put up some shots.
You're always shooting, man.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And Vern Cross.
Cross, my man. That's my guy right there.
He helps me out a lot. He'll show me things I can work on, things I'm doing good on, but I can still improve on. So it's they're helping me out, so I'm ready for the next year.
And Vern will definitely help you out. Not only because he's that kind of guy, but he's got the skills. He's got the smarts. He's been there and been through this himself. Vern, shout out. Good man. Now, I want to talk to you about the Hudson High basketball team this year. I know, as an alum, you keep a close watch on you guys at Hudson High and Briscoe and the boys. Talk to me about this year's team. I mean, It's kind of strange because, I mean, they lost Justin Oliveris to a prep school.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some issues here and there with some kids that had to kind of work on their grades a little bit. But
Willie left.
Willie Jones, of
Yeah.
course, moving to Florida. I mean, who was their leading scorer. So I mean, so a lot of things happening around the team. Yet they're still 13-1 and looking good, and have that 45-game Patroon Conference winning streak. What do you think of this year's team? What you see?
Well, first I want to say, like, I hope whatever Will Jones is doing, like, he's good and, like,
Yes,
to
he
them
is.
and the family, because
Yeah.
Will's my man and his little brother, Tuda. Those is my guys.
And Miss Gloria.
Yeah.
We love them.
So, like, looking at this team right now, I know they lost in the tournament.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, in the McKeel tournament, they lost. They were upset, actually, by Brett Auburn Perth. But then they came back the next night and beat Cohoes by, like, 30.
Yeah, so, like, that's, like, showing them, like, you lose a game, but they stayed strong and they came out and killed Cohoes. And, like, shout out to Briscoe for his, like, 100th win.
Yeah, we got
like
to talk about that, too.
So, like, they're doing their thing, and you got Nitrell, Jeremy, Daquan stepping up. You got
sure is.
Bond stepped up a lot.
He did.
You got a lot of the whole team, and Matt Sweet's doing his thing, and bringing up Noah and Chunks. Those are like, they look like they're on the team the whole time. That
Exactly.
they're not looking frantic, and they're
Not
actually
the deer in the
playing.
headlights kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're just freshmen, but they're playing like these seniors.
Yeah,
out
so
there.
I'm proud of them, and they're doing their thing right now. And I just say, keep y'all heads, like, just know that people is out there to get y'all, and nobody's gonna.
Yeah, got the bullseye on the back.
And when you guys play, Casco on Saturday, look to kill. No nice guy. Like, they not our friends. We got to kill them off a rip.
Yeah, you're still pulling for the guys though against Catskill. I know you're not playing anymore for Hudson High, but you still got that feeling like we got to get Catskill, man.
Yeah, we got to kill them by at least 40.
Last thing I want to talk about, we touched on it a little bit, is the 100th victory for Coach Briscoe. You were there for about 60 of those victories, but anything you want to say to Coach Briscoe on this milestone?
I want to say I'm proud of him, and he grew a lot as a coach, and now he's seeing I just went to one of their practices, and they're doing a lot of skill-based things to get their guys ready, and that's something he should be proud of, and
right now
you can look back and oh, I did that, so I just want to say good job.
There you go. Mike, we out of time, man. The time went too fast. I mean, we got to get you back in here. Not only are you a great leader, but you're a great talker, too, and there's so much to touch base on, man.
Yeah,
but you keep grinding, man, and we'll be talking to you before you get back to the basketball action at Columbia Green. We hope to see you real soon, okay?
All
right. Well, that's going to wrap things up for this week's HV360 Press Box, brought to you by our good friends at Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again real soon.